Wife had manic episode, was placed on 72-hour hold and had intercourse with another patient. My wife started having some weird issues one week while I was traveling. Talking in riddles, chanting, behaving oddly. She was giving things away, throwing out things that were plastic. Was hearing voices, threw her and our daughter's phones in the lake. Called me and told me to delete some of our friends' numbers because they were bad spirits. Somehow she lost $100,000 that we had stored away for an extreme emergency. Since we had recently moved, I hadn't yet put it into safe. One of the nights I was away she was out knocking on neighborhood doors at 2 a.m. The police called me when they found her due to someone calling them, but I missed the call. They called my son, who then called me. She made it back home okay, but had thrown her and our daughter's phone in the lake. I didn't know this yet. She sent me an email at 3 a.m. from her computer saying she was okay and she and our daughter had lost their phones. I got home the next day and she welcomed me as I arrived. She seemed very euphoric and happy to see me, but was talking tangentially. But overall seemed normal. The next day I found her digging in the backyard with her bare hands. I told her we should go to the hospital and have her checked out. She said okay. I got her cleaned up. At this point, she said she was tired, so I put on some soft music and had her take a nap. I ordered food while she slept, and when she got up we ate, watched a little TV, and then she was tired so we went to bed. Everything seemed okay. The next morning at 5 a.m. she started talking and rambling about spirits and government conspiracies. I told her I was still tired and to go back to sleep. She got up, I went back to bed. When I got up I found all the doors open, and the pets wandering the neighborhood. I went looking for her and couldn't find her. When I got back to the house she had our dog. By the way, she spent $5,000 on a dog we didn't want or need and couldn't really take care of that week in her arms, and she said she needed to return it to the neighbor. It was theirs. I told her no, she had just bought it. There is more craziness, but I don't have energy to type it all. I said let me put him away and let's go. We went to the ER to get her checked out and they wound up putting her on a 72-hour hold. I had no idea what that was. But they took her out of my care and forced me leave the hospital. The drive later told me it was some type of manic episode and they would take care of her. I called every hour on the hour checking on her. And they didn't have a bed, but they had medicated her Bentril, Halidol and Ativan, and she was resting. Finally around 1 a.m. they transported her to a psych facility where they were to help her. I called the facility around 8 a.m. to check on her and they said she was resting peacefully. They told me they had a visiting hour at 11 a.m. 12 noon. The place was an hour away. So I left at 9:45 a.m. and was there to see her at 11 a.m. I had to walk through 3 locked doors, badge doors, and was escorted and watched by a security officer at all times. Then I had to wait in the visitation area for her. She comes walking in very euphoric. "Hi sweetie," although she had a bit of issue with her speech. Comes up and hugs me, although walking slowly and gingerly. I hugged her tight and said, "How are you doing?" She says, "I just had sex." I said, "Huh?" She said, "Yeah." I said, "With who?" I figured she was hallucinating. She said, "A guy here. He said he was you, that he was my husband. But then once we were having intercourse he said he is Johnny and he is going to be my new boyfriend." I was stunned and knew she was in a fragile state and didn't say much more about it. I was in shock. I reported it to the facility after visiting time with her was over and they told me I had to leave. I asked for an administrator and talked to 2. They told me it happens sometimes but they would investigate. They'd take all allegations seriously and they would be calling in the police. They then started stonewalling me and giving me little bits and pieces, saying it was a privacy issues and patients were entitled to privacy. I told them I had a medical power of attorney we both have on each other, but that didn't help. She wouldn't share any of her rest results, any of the meds they were giving her. Nothing. The second day I came to see her she was so drugged up she couldn't even talk. They still would give me details. One person told me the incident happened at 9:40 a.m. I had gotten there at 11. The police report confirmed all of the facts as they had interviewed both parties and a witness. They said no charges as both parties said it was consensual, so there was no more investigation. I am crushed by it. Part of our bond has been that we have both been so in love for 23 years and haven't wanted others. One of her phrases is, "My body is my temple." The moment I would break, that would be the end of us. Again, it is crushing to read the police report of what she said and what the witness found. I am feeling broken over all of this. You need a lawyer to go after the hospital. That is some shady shit. Saying that intercourse between 2 people during mental events is consensual is almost as bad as saying it's not rape if the other person is so drunk they can say no.